Good morning, Dr. Sunil ji.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of you.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Fine. Okay. So nice meeting on you this platform.
Yes.
In virtual platform.
Yes, hope we'll meet offline soon, sometime.
Sure. Yeah. So is
My
it classes
slide?
started? Yeah, please.
is my slide visible to? All?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible.
Okay.
It's visible. There is some internet problem in between somewhere.
Oh. So I'll try to maybe while talking, I will switch off my video so that there's less trouble.
No problem. No problem. You can go. The problem is from my side. No problem from
Okay.
your side.
Uh-huh.
But still, it is going on.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So how many participants are there around?
Yeah, right now they are just joined 13 only.
Okay.
But there are all 57 participants.
57. Okay.
Okay. So slowly and gradually they are going to join.
Yeah, so we can start maybe 5 minutes around and late, maybe 9:35. Do we need to wait for like participants around like by 9:35?
Yeah, 9:30 we can start, no problem.
Okay, it's fine.
So is there online classes going on?
Yes. So and our campus is not yet open for undergraduates, and like we called our postgraduate students, like PhD students and this fifth year master students.
Okay.
We called them, but not the undergraduates. So still we have to teach online.
Okay.
I think the same will be at your side also, right?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
So I think 14%.
So I will use this whiteboard writing mostly. Okay, so I think will be a problem.
Yeah, you can.
The nature of this talk, it seems a bit pedagogical, so I will try to.
Sure. So, good morning to one and all present here. And I welcome Dr. Sunil Mishra from Physics Department, IIT BHU. Dr. Sunil Mishra is working as an assistant professor in the Department of Physics, IIT BHU, Varanasi. His research interest is mainly focused on quantum spin systems and entanglement. He's also working on quantum thermodynamics and quantum optics. He completed his PhD from Department of Physics, IIT Kanpur, under the supervision of Professor V. Subramaniam. And after finishing his PhD, he worked as a postdoc at IIT Madras and Institute of Physics, Martin Luther University, Germany. He was also awarded the prestigious DST Inspired Faculty Fellowship of the Department of Science and Technology, India. And to his credit, he has published so many research papers in various national and international journals. So with this, I again welcome Dr. Sunil Mishra to deliver a lecture on quantum gates and circuits. That's very important because some of the participants are asking yesterday about there is a session of quantum gates and circuits which would like to hear and learn from them. So I request, Dr. Sunil Mishra ji, to continue your lecture, to start your lecture. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Professor Srivastav. Thank you for inviting me to this FDP lecture. And I will try to make you understand this topic. Okay, I will just show you this slide only, and the rest of thing I will try to write on the whiteboard. And I hope you have a permission to interrupt me anytime. Okay, and so that whatever be the delivery of this talk is there. Okay, that is perfect for you. Okay, so I think because many of you might be starting to look for this direction. Okay, and I am sure that there may be some experts sitting there outside, okay, in this forum. So I will apologize for them, because the talk will be at a pedagogical level, where I will try to explain this topic, okay, which mostly is a textbook thing, okay, and one can employ them, use them, okay, while working on these topics, so that the application part, which will be discussed in some other lectures, okay, that will be much more clear to you. So I will just switch off my video because there will be some network issues my side as well. And I hope side as well. And
Yeah, no problem.
whenever, yeah, I can appear whenever you want me to meet up here. Okay. So
Okay.
let me please stop the video and we'll start. Yes. Okay. So as my topic suggests, I will be discussing on quantum gates and circuits. I'm from IIT BHU Varanasi, and the one of the only places in India. And now, because of this coronavirus, still we have lots of the visitors visiting there. I hope some of you might have visited this place. Okay, so let me start my discussion here. Okay, so the topic that I am discussing today is centered around to the quest of quantum computers. Okay, these quantum computers are said to be working on the principles of quantum mechanics. And there are various algorithms that are proposed using the properties of quantum mechanics that can be employed on this quantum computer. Okay, it is still in the phase of realization, not yet realized. Okay, however, lots of work going on at a fundamental level to realize the components of a quantum computer. For instance, what will be the basic building blocks? What will be registers? What will be these bits, qubits? How can we realize the gates and all those things? So I will today discuss the most fundamental topic in this quantum computer, that is the quantum gates. Okay, so these quantum computers, they are said to have do some wonders in computing. For instance, they can break the present cryptography. Means whatever the present we have this crypto system is there, where we encrypt the messages all over banking, all whatever the business, most of them transactions, money transactions, most of them are based on the cryptography, and quantum computers are said to be giving you a breaking point. They can break the modern cryptography. Okay, there are algorithms, okay, that actually show that this most secure, this classical cryptography that can be breakable by the proposed quantum computer. And quantum computer, they bring a solution also. Okay, for this problem, they bring a solution that they will be giving you some means that you can do a secure cryptography. By distribution of the security key based on quantum mechanics, which is called as quantum key distribution. The quantum computers are said to be helping in designing new medicines. Usually we deal with the compounds which may be a bit complex, lots of atoms there, to work it out, to understand what's going on. if we add something, if we remove something, and all those things with the complex structure, okay, the classical computers sometimes they fail. The simulations, if done on the quantum computers, they may help in designing the new machines. Okay, they may help in the search and optimization. So there are lots of one can go for the algorithms, which actually will tell you that how quantum computers are helping in searching some entities based on some random collections there. Okay, for example, if you want to find the shortest way to reach to, let's say, Thiruvananthapuram, okay, and there are you don't want to recall all these informations, all the distances. Okay, quantum computer can do a task with one such code. Okay, it can help you to simulate quantum systems. The quantum systems usually they are players in Hilbert space. Okay, Hilbert space, a very big space. Okay, and for example, even if you take a qubit, okay, I'll discuss the qubit, and this Hilbert space, as you go on increasing the number of qubits, the Hilbert space is increasing like an exponential power. Okay, and if you deal with a classical computer to simulate the quantum system, it's getting harder and harder. Okay, one can simulate, let's say, some 100 atoms. It's a very big job for a classical computer. Okay, however, simulating this system of 100 atoms would be a bit easier task for a quantum computer. Okay, so there are also issues that the parallelization is there. Okay, which will help in speed up the calculations. Okay, so quantum computer is said to be based on these very path-breaking fundamentals. Okay, and there are some codes, there are some algorithms which are simulated on a classical computer. They show that a quantum computer would be able to do those things. Okay, so we need to understand a bit more inside this quantum computer, inside the fundamentals of quantum computer. To begin with, I'll discuss the fundamental block, that is a qubit, quantum bit. This bit we already are familiar with, that you have two states, these two numbers, 0 or 1. Okay, a system can either be in 0 or 1, maybe it's a switch on, switch off state of a register. Okay, and one can just set up your classical computer based on this the Boolean algebra, which is actually playing with the permutations of this 0, 1. And the quantum, this classical computer already sets up a path of computing, so things are a bit easier for a quantum computer to learn from the classical computer what's going on there and what to be improvised with this quantum bit. The quantum bit is usually called as a, we take a symbol, this, where we put inside the classical bit. So 0 classical bit is named as a, this angle bracket is there, with this bar is there, that's a 0 quantum bit. And the 1 classical bit will be 1 quantum bit. Okay, so this number just distinguished from this classical number. Classical number is without this bracket. Okay, this is called a cake. Okay, and there is a beauty in quantum mechanics there, that quantum state can be in a superposition of states. Okay, so we are dealing, when we say this is 0, 1 quantum bit, we will be dealing with a very simple system Okay, that's a very simple and most quantum. I would say the word is a most quantum system. Okay, this system usually referred in physics textbooks as two-level system. A very general, broad description of all those systems where you actually have two levels. You can define this level 0, 1. Okay. For example, one example is that the spin states of an electron. Electron actually is a spin half particle. Spin half particle. Okay. And the spin half particle, it has two states. Okay. Called as a down and up state. Okay. Down and up state. And these two states are separated by some energy level, energy difference, delta. Okay. If the electron gets the delta energy, it will jump to the up level. If it reaches delta energy, it will come to down level. Okay. These two levels make a Hilbert space of dimension 2. That's the simplest dimension of a quantum system. Okay. As you go on, keep on increasing dimensionalities, you are actually having more and more complexities. Okay. And in fact, if you increase dimensionality, you are going to be more and more classical. Okay. That's why I call it the most quantum. The two-level system is the most quantum level in the system. Okay. And there are realizations by experimentalists. They can prepare this state. Okay. So they can prepare using this trapped ion. They can prepare using this polarized states of light or photons. Okay, there are some solid state qubits now in this domain are there. Solid state qubits, namely this NV centers, the silicon qubits. Okay, so they all are a good candidate considered in this Hilbert space of dimension 2 to be realized in terms of two levels, 0 and 1. Let me change to this page. And there's a completion because this two-level system is complete by these two bases. This 0 and 1, they form bases. 0 and 1 form a complete basis. Okay, that means in a language of quantum mechanics, 0 ket, this is called 0 ket, this is called 0 bra plus 1 ket, 1 bra, that is equal to identity. Okay, these are actually operator notations are there, projectors, notations. Okay, and this is criteria that is called the closure property or completeness. Okay, and the beauty of quantum mechanics is there. Any qubit is defined as psi ket. I call it ket, psi ket, quantum state there, psi ket, which will be superposition of these two basis sets, alpha 0 plus beta 1. The electron can be found in these two levels simultaneously. It is your measurement which will decide that what is the probability of which state it collapsed after measurement. But if you don't measure, it will be thought of as a superposition state, just like a wave. There is a superposition of waves are there. Okay, so in a quantum mechanics, the quantum state, that is a superposition of these two states, ket 0 and ket 1. The ket 0 has a probability of mod alpha square and ket 1 has probability of mod beta square. And this alpha and beta are numbers. Okay? There is a choice, infinite choice of them. Okay, alpha, beta, complex numbers just belong this right this set C. Okay, and there's infinite choices of them to treat that. Okay, so I will call the usually this state is called as an unknown qubit. You don't know about this qubit. Okay, quantum mechanical system can be in a superposition state of these two gates 0, 1, and the numbers alpha and beta can be any. Okay, depending upon the state of the system. Okay. And do you hear me? My voice is clear to all of you?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is usually called sometimes as a single qubit system, where the state is represented as by this one. Okay, so the notations we have in classical, you have 0, 1 in classical. Okay, but in quantum, you have this kind of things, alpha 0 plus beta 1. Don't have superposition in classical computing, but quantum computing, you will be dealing with a superposition state. That is sometimes as if first instance it looks like that it will be causing too much complexities, but later you will realize that these states, the superposition state, this is a boon. This is a kind of boon for this quantum mechanics to realize many tasks which cannot be doable for a classical computer. And to deal with a multi-qubit system, it will be like this one. So you have, let's say, too many electron states are there, okay, and they just form this state. Let's say I call this some psi prime state, okay, which will be something like alpha 0, 0, 0, dot, 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 plus beta 0, 0, 0, plus gamma 0, 0, 0, dot, 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 1, 0, dot, dot. You have all such conditions of 0, 1. Okay, they will just make the state a many qubit states. Okay, usually because this is qubit you are dealing with. Okay, so there's a tensor product between these states because they all belong to different Hilbert spaces. Okay, that's why you can write in this form. So write it like alpha 0, 0, 0, dot, 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 plus beta 0, 0, 0, dot, dot, 1, plus gamma 0, 0, dot, dot, 1, 0, plus dot, dot, keep on increasing, just like you're doing with the bits. Okay, the inside thing is a bit, and when you put this, it just differentiates with the quantum state. Okay, so that's any mini multi-qubit state in a picture that usually we'll have. Okay, so that's so far so good. We have a single qubit, we have many qubit system. Okay, and we can do the tasks with this single qubit and many qubit states. Okay, the task usually is done with the manipulations of this qubit. Using unitary transformation. Okay, so the quantum mechanics usually deal with the you will have the operators there. Okay, they will act on the gates. They will act on the gate space. Okay, and they will give you value accordingly. Okay, and these operators. Okay, you will have gate in the notation in terms of mutation. When you apply a gate to a gate, that will do some transformation to this gate, okay, and that is going to help us in computing. Okay. So, at this stage, I will just come back to first to the classical bits and the classical gates, and then I will return back to this quantum picture so that the things be clear to you, and you can connect the dots, whatever be with the classical and computing. Okay, so just recall. Classical gates. Okay, you have noted the gates that is doing the operation that you have some input x is there, and it will just give you the inverted x bar. Okay, x can be 0, 1. Okay, it can be at the 0 or 1. Okay, and it will. This is a NOT gate. You all familiar with NOT gate. We have the famous gate AND. You have two inputs there, x, y, and the output is actually x dot y. Okay, one can just write the Boolean table for this x and y having this 0, 1, and find out what is the output x dot y is there. Then you can have this OR gate. You have x, y, and the output, single output is there, x plus y. Okay, you have NAND gate where you have x, y inputs are there, and the output actually x dot y, not of that. Likewise, you have NOR gate, XOR gate. Okay, this is a NOR gate where you do OR operation followed by a NOT operation. Okay, you have XOR. This is also a famous gate in classical computing where you have two inputs x and y, and the output is actually x addition modulo 2 y. Okay, that's addition modulo. This is called that. Yeah, so that's what we see. What we see in all these gates, in the classical gates, you have two inputs and one output. In all the gates, these gates that is used in present architecture of computers, you actually are using this. This NAND is a universal gate. One can do work it out, taking all this stock of NANDs and do all these sorts of computing. Okay, the issue is that you have two inputs and one output. In all such computation, this task, this cost is the one bit data is erased in time. Every time. Okay. The process is called a reversible process. You cannot get back to the initial state from the output state. And the problem that is causing is here, energy is dissipated. Okay, and this was estimated by Landau's principle. Okay, that the entropy, this information entropy will be S is equal to KB log 2, because you have two states in the bit. So there's omega, that is the number of microstates you have 2, and you can estimate this, and S is around E by T, that is around KB log 2, and so the energy dissipated is around KB T ln 2. Okay, around room temperature if you have for T equal to 300 Kelvin, if you calculate, okay, this E will come out to be around 0.0175 electron volt. Okay, it's the number is small, but you see that you're dealing with a 1 bit eraser every process every time. And when you have a processors which have a, let's say, some working out with a 1 gigabyte per second this rate, okay, so this the distribution is a bit significant. There are lots of other ways, other problems of this heating. Okay, they usually do a problem with the heating. There are other processes that are causing the heating, but this is a very basic fundamental concept of heating that is going on. If you remove all the processes that is causing heating in the system, this one will remain. There is no way to remove this process unless you switch on a reversible process. Okay, so need for reversible gates. Okay, this need was realized. This need was came in the picture. Okay, for the people who are working in the classical computing. Okay, and they are proposing in around this 80s that one should have look for a reversible gate which will nullify this heating effect. Okay, so there are reversible gates in a existing one, because you see that our NOT gate has one input, one output, so it is fine. It is a reversible one. You can apply another NOT gate, you get X. Okay, so NOT gate is a reversible gate. The other gates, like for example, one gate, this swap gate. Swap gate does a task that if you have inputs are there, and this gate will do a work that it will just swap. If X and Y are the input, the output will be Y. Okay, whatever the input side is there, it will go to Y. Whatever the output side is there, the second side it will go to X. You can apply again this swap gate, you get the initial state, initial bit XY. Okay, that is a reversible one. Okay, that is a reversible. Okay, and there is this gate C NOT, controlled NOT gate is there. Okay, we will discuss in detail in this the quantum version, but the classical version also has this one, which is doing the task that if the state inputs are there 0 0, I'll just draw this diagram for this one. So it is like this one, an XOR operation there, and there's a control thing is there, and dot is there. Okay, let's say X and Y are the input thing, and the output will be X and X plus 1. So if you have a 0 0, this is some other options there. You add the 0 0, okay, you get 0 0. Whenever the control bit is 1, 0 1 will happen to be 0 1. If the control bit is 1, then this is called a target bit. 1 0 is there, and the target bit will flip. It will go to 1 1. And if it is 1 1, then it will flip to 1 0. The second qubit has the effect of flipping only when the first bit is 1. Okay, that is a controlled operation is there. Okay, and this operation is realized as again a reversible one. Okay, one can find the swap gate by this C naught. If we apply the successive C naught, this C naught followed by C naught, this reverse one, where the control and target sites are changed, and then again come back to the control and target of the same thing in direction this. And if you work it out, you see the output x y. Okay, the output will be actually y x. This is actually a swap gate. Swap usually a symbol is this. You have cross here, cross here. Okay. The swap. So one can make CNOT into a swap operation. That is quite evident. And there are universal reversible gate, just like you have a reversible irreversible gate, that is AND gate. The universal reversible gate that requires actually a 3-input system. 3 inputs required for that. And it was realized by different people. One Fredkin realized, and the gate is called as Fredkin gate. The other one is Foley gates. Okay. Now this one is actually called a controlled swap gate. And this is called a controlled CNOT. Okay. These gates are reversible. That means if you apply again the same gate, you get the initial state. That meaning for the reversibility. Okay, you can reverse. You can get back to the initial state from the perform output states. So this usually performs this swaps the value of, you have 3 inputs are there. So swaps the second and third bit, and only if first bit is 1. This performs a task. It flips third qubit if and only if first input bits are 1. Okay, so the Fredkin, this one is
in Toffoli, sir, in Toffoli gate there is no effect of second bit, isn't it?
So there is effect of second bit. If you see, if you have to multiply this two first and second bit. Okay, if you get 1, okay, and if the third bit is 1, okay, then you have to check this the state in the second. I'll just write this. Probably it will be making more clear. For example, this for a Fredkin thing, this 1 0 0, because you see that this first bit is 1, and second, third, this call is first, second, third. First bit is 1, second, third are both 0. If it swaps, it will be the same state. Okay. It will keep on going for 1 0 0, for 0 0 0. Also, it is 0 0 0. Okay. Let's say when you reach to like 1 0 1, you can see the change. First bit is 1. It will swap to this second and third bit. It will be 1 1 0.
No, sir, I am talking about control to CNOT. Means in.
I'm coming to the control CNOT.
Okay.
Coming to the, yes. And let's say this is 1 1 0 is there. It will make it 1 0 1 here. So here in the control CNOT thing, okay, what will happen is, let's say you have a the state, let's say 1 0 0 is here. Okay, and you see that the first 2 input bits is 1 2 3. Okay, first 2 input bits, they are 1, only then third will be flipped. You see that first bit is 1, but second bit is 0. Okay, so the third bit won't flip. The state will be as it is, 1 0 0. Okay, the
Okay, sir.
it
It
will be
was
like
my bad,
one.
sir. Actually, yeah, my bad. Actually, I thought it's only first bit written, first two bits. Yeah, it was my bad, sir.
Yeah, yeah. The
Sorry.
first bit will be, yeah, the flipping is just a control. This is control. Okay, the first one is control. The second, depending upon this, the second and third bit. Okay, if the control bit is 1, okay, and the third bit will flip only. Okay, in this case, it will be 1. So first two input bits are 1, 1 in this case. 1, 2, they are 1. The third bit will be flipped. It will be 1, 1, 1. Okay. The same will go to this state 1, 1, 1. First two input bits are 1, 1, 1 are there. The third bit will be flipped. It will be 1, 1, 0. Rest all will be same. There is no change to other 5 combinations that are left. 5 combinations of this 1, 0 that are left. They will be unflipped, unchanged. Okay. For example, 0, 0, 0 will be 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 1 will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 will be this one. Okay. And all this, only this is action happening on this one, where the first two input bits are 1. Also, the same thing here. The action goes on when the first they are 1, and at least one of them is 1. Okay, then only you can see this change. If you have 1, 1, 1 is here, then though it will swap the first two, but you can't have any effect of the swapping. Swapping can be here on this whenever you have 0, 1, 1, 0. So this Fatkin and Toffoli gates, they seem to be realizable. Okay, and they seem to be doing all the tasks for the computation, classical computation, with an added flavor that they will be reversible. So if at all one switches to a reversible computer, class computer, one has to choose one of these Fatkin or Toffoli gates and to the all these sort of calculations accordingly. Okay, one can write the transformation because this is going on the matrix form. The symbol is like this one. You have A, B, C. Their inputs are there. Okay, and there's a control on A. There's a control on B. There's an XOR on C. Get the output will be A changed, B A, B, and you have I'm sorry, I have to make it in a better form. So we are doing a swapping. Swapping is there. It's not a it's a Fatkin. So you have a the control is here, and then you have a swapping on this. And the picture that you have A, B, and C is here. Okay, so A will be remaining as A. Okay, and this will go to C. This will go to B. Okay. If you look for this this control C naught operation, that will be like this one. You have this control here. You have control here, and then you have XOR here. You have A, B, C input is there. A, B will be remaining unchanged, but C will be going to C XOR of A dot B. Okay, so you can check that the transformation. For example, 1, 1, 0 is here. If you have 1, 1, 0, 1, 1 remains as it is, and here you have C plus AB. C is a 0, and plus 1 will come there. Okay, and its additional to 2 will be 1 there. Okay, someone can just get this state. Yeah. Why they call universal? Because every permutation is possible. 0, 1 to the power n, every permutation is possible. Is possible with these gates. Yeah. So I did not discuss this single qubit thing. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So this is fine. So we have this universal reversible gate is there. Okay. And these gates, for example, this CNOT, Fredkin, Toffoli, okay, these have one property. Okay, so these gates, okay, they have property that they are unitary. Okay, and X also. Okay, the NOT operation. Don't X, call it NOT, right? No, okay. NOT, CNOT, Toffoli, swap. Okay, these logic gates, they have a one thing common, that is a unitarity. Okay, that is the reason of the reversibility of the process. Okay, we have a reversible gate. This is because of the transversal matrix that form. This it's a unitary matrix. Okay, and here a link is established by none other than Feynman, and then later by Deutsch. Okay, and subsequently the studies were there that you used to deal with the unitary operators in quantum mechanics. In quantum mechanics, you define this operator U, which is such that if we take this Hermitian adjoint, it will be equal to the inverse. Okay, or in other words, U dagger is equal to identity. Okay, if you calculate the determinant of this U, okay, it will be either -1 -I. Okay, that means if you take mod of determinant of U, it will be okay. So you have all the one before this, the values will be there. Okay, and yeah. So and you know that the unitary operator that can be written as exponential of IH, where H is a Hermitian operator. H is Hermitian. Hermitian is that if the operator is equal to its Hermitian adjoint, that's a Hermitian operator. So these kind of operators, they can be written as a exponential of iota H, Hermitian operator. Okay. In quantum mechanics, we solve Schrodinger equation. Any state at time t, you apply an operator U on the state psi 0, you get the state. Okay. In fact, in general, we can define a transformation of the two gates by unitary operation, and it's a well-known thing. Okay, when we understand the quantum mechanics there. So there's a linkage between this reversible gates and the unitary evolution of the quantum states by this unitary operator. We put a hat there to just distinguish from the classical thing. Okay, so this linkage unitarity makes to explore unitarity of reversible, classical reversible. Quantum analog. Okay. So quantum analog of this, if we have a quantum analog of bit, that is qubit. So we should have a quantum analog of this gates. We call them as quantum gates. Quantum, and they are reversible gates. Okay, there is inherent thing is there, reversible You don't need to define that there should be reversible gate. It should be a reversible gate. Okay. That means if you get psi t by applying u on psi 0, you can trace back to psi 0 again by applying an inverse operator u inverse or u dagger on this psi t to get back to psi 0. Okay, this implies that psi 0 is actually u inverse of psi t. Okay, u inverse is nothing but it's a u dag. Okay, quantum mechanics has this exploitation of this unitarity every time, and that feature of the classical reversible gates can be understood there also. Okay, so we already have the analog of bit, that is q bit. Okay, so the analog of the classical reversible gates, they are quantum gates. Okay, and the notable of them is single qubit gate, okay. For example, you have a X gate is there, which is named as a NOT gate in quantum state. Okay, what it does is it will act on this psi and it will invert it. Whatever psi is there, it will make it psi. Okay, X acting on 0 will make it to 1. X acting on 1 will make it to 0. Okay, X acting on alpha 0 plus beta 1 will make it to alpha 1 plus beta 0. We have a single qubit gate, Z gate. Okay, these all actually are polymatrices, X matrix, Z matrix, Y matrix. Okay, and their function is when you apply Z on 0, it will be 0. When you apply Z on 1, it will be -1. Okay, so if you apply Z on psi, it will be Z on alpha 0 plus beta 1, and it will be alpha 0 minus beta 1. Of phase, this minus sign picks up when you have a 1 is there. Okay, and that's a very, very popular gate, very famous gate. One can have notation of this gate as like we put X here and this. It has one input and the output is the inverted output. 0 gate is makes to be 1, 1 gate makes to be 0. Z gate, again you put a Z symbol here and one input, one output. That's a single qubit gate is there. There's a very important gate. There's a Hadamard gate. What is doing is that when you apply a Hadamard gate on 0 gate, it will make the state to be 0 plus 1 by root 2. When you apply the state, the Hadamard gate on 1, it will make the state to be 0 minus 1 by root 2. Okay, there's nothing, it's like that it's doing not any big deal. No, but it is doing a big deal. We'll see that this 0, 1, if you represent a qubit on a sphere, this is called a block representation of a qubit, where the state 0 you can put here and state 1 you can put here. Okay, this is the X, Y, and Z axis is there. Okay, this is state 0 plus 1 by root 2, sometimes called a plus state, and this is state 0 minus 1 by root 2, sometimes called as a minus state. These states are like you rotated it by 2 degree and make the state like this. This is your Z axis, this is your Y axis, this is your X axis. It looks like that you have rotated by pi by 2 angle to this state space. When you apply this Hadamard gate on this 0 or 1. 0 and 1 usually the states are the eigenstates of the polyjet matrix. 0 and 1 eigenstates of Z, that is 0, 1, 1, 0. That is 1, 0, 0, minus 1. And plus minus are eigenstates of X matrix 0, 1, 1, 0. Okay. So it seems like the eigenstates are rotated when you apply the Hadamard, and they are the eigenstates of X state now. Okay. And they actually one of the very important gates in quantum computing. Okay. The single qubit gate. Okay. Which actually will see that this does a task to search for a universal quantum computer, the universal quantum gate in this domain. They have properties that one thing is that H, if you apply successive H, that is identity. And if you put H, X, H, you get H. That means this matrix H is like this one. 1 by square root 2, 1, 1, 1, minus 1. You can search, do this calculation. X is 0, 1, 1, 0, and Z is 1, 0, 0, minus 1. It's a trivial task. Just check this, what is going on here. And if you put Z here between 2H, it will make it to X. We represent this gate as H here with a single input, single output. There are other single qubit gates which are important. Not more than these two gates, X and H important. That's why I just bunch them in other important single qubit gates. They are Y gate is there. That's a poly Y. There's a 0, minus I, 0, the matrix operator. And when you apply the switching, you get a phase there, I out is there. Okay. So when Y is acting on 0, it will be 1. When Y is acting on 1, it will be 0, but there's a phase is there. Okay. Yeah, so when one can just look at what is the phase is there, you can get there. There is gate called this T gate. It is like 1, 0, 0, e to the power I5. It is a rotation gate is there, and one can check that Z is nothing but P5. E. If you put e power I pi, e power I pi is cos pi minus I sin pi. That is minus 1. Okay, so if you put here equal to pi, you get a Z gate there. Okay, there's another gate. If you put phi equal to pi by 2, we call is a S gate. That is P. When you put phi equal to pi by 2, it is nothing but 1, 0, 0. And there is another gate that is called T gate, which you get if you put rotation of phi by 4, which will be equal to 1, 0, 0, e power I pi by 4. You can write it a little bit more systematic way. E power I pi by 2, pi by 8, you can pull outside. And this is e power minus I pi by 8, 0, 0, e power I pi by 8. There is another gate which is widely used in quantum computing is this square root NOT gate, which is like you have a NOT gate, the S gate is there. You take square root of this, which the form comes out to be 1 plus iota by 2, 1 minus iota by 2, 1 minus iota by 2, 1 plus iota by 2. Okay. Usually square root naught times square root naught will be a naught. One can check that if you have a 0 gate and when you apply square root naught gate, okay, it will make it to half plus iota by 2 0 plus half minus iota by 2 1. If you apply further this square root naught gate to this one, we get actually 1. We have a famous 2-qubit gate in quantum computing, that is CNOT gate, a quantum version of the classical CNOT gate. Again, we have a, now you're dealing with the states, so you just put input states X and Y, and there's a control here, there's a XR here, and whatever the change you're doing, it's just classical analog of this CNOT gate. So first state is remains as it is, and the second state is going to be XR inside the number X plus Y. Okay. And one can write the matrix form of this. So CNOT acting on 0 0 unchanged, 0 1 is unchanged, 1 0 goes to 1 1, and 1 1 goes to 1 0. So CNOT. So the matrix that is coming out to be, it is like the first one, if I write in terms of the basis, we get first will be unchanged, next and then 0 0 0 0 0. Second will be the same 0 0 0 0, and there's a flip going on. This 0 1 1 0. That's a CNOT gate. This matrix is there. Okay. One can check that U CNOT dagger U identity. Similarly, we have Fredkin gates, quantum Fredkin gates. And quantum Toffoli gates. The Fredkin, again, just like we have seen this quantum version, the classical thing in the number inside the bracket that will change. When 0 0 0 is here, it won't go to any change. When 0 0 1 is there, it won't go any change. Okay, dot dot dot. When you have 1 is here inside, 1 0 1, then there's a swapping of these two gates, the 2 bits, second and third, it will be 1 1 0. When you have 1 1 0, again it will be swapping will be between second and third bits, it will be 1 0 1, and rest of all will be same. 1 1 will be 1 1 1. Okay. Similarly, Toffoli, we have this again 0 0 0. It won't do anything. Okay. When we have we come to the 1 thing and 1 0 0. Okay, so because these first 2 bits are different, 1 0. Okay, so there is no flipping to the third bit, so it is as it is 1 0 0. Okay, when you have 1 1 0, it will go to 1 1 1, and when you have 1 1 1, it will go to 1 1 0. It's a quantum Toffoli gate. Actions of this. And the first one is quantum Friedkin gate. And unlike the classical Friedkin and Toffoli, they are not universal. Not a universal quantum gate. Okay. Unlike universal, classical, reversible Friedkin and Toffoli gate. We have to search for a quantum universal gate. Okay. For that, you have a controlled, we can define controlled gate, a controlled U gate. Okay. This is looking like you have the first block is the identity thing, 0, 1, 0, 0. You see that there's a block of identity here, block of 0 here, block of 0 here, and here you have a U11, U12, U21, U22, a block of U's here. Okay, simple we write as a, here you have a control, and here you have a U. U is any single qubit gate. U is a single qubit gate. One can define the controlled control X is C0. One can define controlled this Hadamard gate, controlled Y gate, controlled Z gate accordingly. Is there any question? May I continue?
म्हणजे हे फक्त असं
Is this fine? Is there any question or query something? Okay, so we have this picture of this gates. Okay, so for example, this controlled U, it will transform 0, 0. It is called CU gate. It will transform 0, 0 to 0, 0. It will do nothing to 0, 1 because the first bit is 0. It won't do anything to this second bit, second qubit. When you have a control bit 1 and this target qubit is 0, okay, it will transform it to 1 and product XOR U0. Okay, this will be actually, if you work it out, this is 1 XOR and U0, 0, 0 plus U101, okay, and this XOR will flip this bits because first one is 1, so it will be U0011 plus U1010. This second qubit flips whenever the first target qubit is, first control qubit is 1. Actually, 0, 1 under the CU operation will go to 1 and XOR U1. Okay, and we can find accordingly. So these universal quantum usually one look for a pair of gates. They work for, if you take a some ensemble of gates, okay, and they can work, if they can solve any combination of this quantum qubits, work it out, then you can call them a universal gates. Okay, one set is set 1 is there. That is, if you take the rotation gates are there, Rx, theta, rotation about x-axis by angle theta, ry theta, rotation of this spin, whatever this you are taking the object, about y-axis by angle theta, rz theta, and there is a p phi and there is c naught together, where rx theta is defined as rx theta is nothing but there's a rotational matrix one can form about x-axis. Okay, so this will be cos theta by 2 minus I sine theta by 2 minus I sine theta by 2 and cos theta by 2. The ry theta will be cos theta by 2 minus sine theta by 2 sine theta by 2 cos theta by 2. Then you have rz theta will be equal to minus I iota theta by 2 0 0 e power iota theta by 2, and you have this pH phase gate pH phi, that is e power I phi. This is pH, not P. pH phi is e power I phi 1001. Okay. These four gates Rx, Ry, Rz, pH phi together with C naught, they form a set of universal quantum gate. One can find all the gates in terms of these 5 gates. These 5 gates, one can set up all the operations in quantum computing. The set is there. Set comprises C naught, mod, S gate, and P gate. You can do all the tasks in quantum computing with the help of these 4 gates, qubit gate and single qubit gates. There's a set 3 is there. Set 3 is you have fully plus the Hadamard. You can perform all the tasks with the help of these 2 gates. Okay, so these 3 sets are there, and there is set 4 is there. That is a Dweck gate is there. It was believed earlier that Dweck gate will work as a universal this gate, just like a Fredkin, classical Fredkin, or classical Toffoli. Okay, to work it out all the tasks with a 3 qubit, just like a classical a reversible gate. A universal gate requires a 3 bit. You here require a 3 input qubits there, and that should perform the task. This is given like this one. We control here. You have control here, and you have a U, single qubit operation U here. Okay, this can be any single qubit matrix one can set up, and this task will be equivalent to doing this 2 qubit operations. Like we have a 3 inputs there. Okay, and let's say you do this XR, this control V operation. And you can do this here. Okay. P dagger is here. Then you have a P is here. You can take a control here and P here, and then you have the output is there. Okay, provided that V square is equal to U. Okay, U is a single qubit matrix, single qubit operator, single quote gate, and V also is a single quote gate. Okay, so that V is quite equal to U. So that's a called a Dweck's gate. Okay, however, it was found later that the Dweck's gate can be work it out with two qubit gates. Okay, and it's not a generic one. Okay, in fact, the Dweck can be two qubit gates. Called as a Baranko gates. Which is defined as a Baranko is defined as a you have a 1 1, the block identity block is there, 0 0 0 0, and there's a block like a controlled U block is there. That's the e power I alpha cos theta minus I e power I alpha. It's constant, yes. Write this 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 U11 U12 0 0 U21 U22, where U11 is e power I alpha cos theta, U22 is minus iota power iota alpha minus phi sin theta, U21 is minus iota e power I alpha plus phi sin theta, and U22 is e power iota alpha cos theta. This Baranko is nothing but a controlled U gate. One can look carefully. Okay, and a controlled U gate can be formed from this help of the single qubit NC naught. Okay, a controlled U can be made by single qubit gates plus C naught. Okay, so in what you get is the picture that single qubit gates plus C naught, they form a universal quantum gates. They are widely used in quantum computing. These two gates, single qubit, the single qubit gates, combining X, H, Z, Rx. This defined the set are there. Okay, and one can do all calculations there. Example of one calculation I can show you. For example, the quantum of adder. You want to add two bits, okay, and you want to find the sum and carry also. Okay, this usual procedure. This our ALU arithmetic logic computation that is doing. Okay, we can perform this task by a quantum mechanical analog of this half adder. Okay, and what we do is that if you have two input A and B are the inputs are there, the circuit we can make is a control this operation is the control this, and you have a extra, that's a Toffoli is there, quantum Toffoli gate is there, and you put the third input as 0. Okay, this input usually called the ancilla input is called. Usually you don't it's in your laboratory, this bit is there. Okay, you don't want to use it, it's just a scrap bit is there. You just want it will help you to get the answer. It's not any extra cost in the completion. It's just helping you write it out. Okay, so we just have this TOEFL, and together with this CNOT. And what is the output is there, because A will remain unchanged. If you work it out this problem, this will be the sum. The inside of this state will be sum. Okay, and inside of this will be the carry. Okay, so the quantum operator does the task. The other circuits using this quantum gate, one can have this. The Hadamard is there. One can just apply a controlled NOT operation, CNOT operation, and the state that you get. Let's say you deal with a 0, 0, 0, 0. Out of this, after this, you get a 0 plus 1 by root 2. When you do this operation, CNOT operation, you get the state to be 0, 0 plus 1, 1 by root 2. Okay, this is a very famous state that's called a Bell state, one of the Bell states. This is a high maximum entanglement in this 2-qubit space. That's a maximally entangled 2-qubit state. I'm sure that you all know the word entanglement, because there's a talk yesterday I see in the list, and this topic would be clear. So the maximum entangled states, the 2 qubits, one can get by just applying this Hadamard single qubit gate and with the CNOT gate. Okay, you can change the input. You can take 0, 1, you can take 1, 0, 1, 1. You'll get the Bell state, but not this, but other form. There are 4 bit states depending upon the inputs. You take 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. You get 4 such a Bell states. Okay, one will be 0, 1 plus 1, 0 by root 2. Other will be accordingly, one can get 4 states with there. Okay. You are also familiar with the task that a quantum circuit can do is this teleportation. I can just draw a circuit for teleportation. That you have this. You have, let's say, you just make a CNOT here, followed by a Hadamard here, and then you do a measurement here. The measurement is done by applying this kind of device, okay, which will calculate some value, and then whatever the classical thing you get, you represent by double dots, double wire. Okay, that is a classical channel. It is called as a classical channel here, and here the output that is given again. Okay, this output is called M1. This output will be called M2. Okay, and whatever the output you get, the classical number according of this output, you can pass on to and do some X measurement, and then this can do Z measurement. Okay, and if you pass here some unknown qubit here, and in this place you have some entangled pair, let's say 0, 0 plus 1, 1 by root 2. Okay, the state here will be the unknown state. This. Okay, this is called a quantum teleportation. I'm sure there's an elaboration on this quantum teleportation with them. Okay, one can teleport known qubit state to a distant party using this channel, using this circuit, quantum circuits. Okay, so altogether your gates, this CNOT gate and single qubit gates, they are sufficient enough to perform any task in quantum computing. Okay, if time would have been there, I would have discussed this some other algorithms where we have this quantum circuits to be implemented there to work it out some famous problems. For example, this Deutsch algorithm, for example, this Grover search algorithm, or the famous algorithm of cracking this cryptography by Peter Shor. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I should conclude now and wait for some questions or some queries if there is. Is this fine?
Yes.
Professor?
Yeah, it's fine. There is a session of question.
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
anyone ask questions from Dr. Sunil ji. So if you want, you can take questions from the participant side.
Yeah.
Any question regarding quantum gates and circuits? Okay. No question from any side?
Oh. So there are two pieces. Either it was too trivial, or
No,
it was a bit bouncer. Huh?
no. It's very simple in simple language and simple way. And you have taken the pedagogical way. That's most general and it is understandable to everybody. Okay. So Dr. Ritesh Yadav is here. Dr. Ritesh Yadav. Okay. Actually, study someone asked about this quantum gates.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think everyone is mute spectator and mute listener. So they are benefiting in this way.
Mhm.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, if someone has questions, you can email
Yeah.
me. There's
You can have chat also. You can
Yes,
chat
yes.
box. You can write some chat box.
Yes.
As studied, some people have write on chat box also.
Mhm.
Anyone wants to ask question, they can write on chat box. Any doubts? Any kind of questions related to this lecture? Any guidance who are working in this area? Because Dr. Sunil is working very much in this area, in his domain. So you can take help from him. Okay, sir. Thank you. I think
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, someone is going through. but-
Actually, yes, yes. So can you just repeat the question of Dr. Ujjwal?
Yeah, sir. Which programming language is must for QC?
I think nowadays, there are many build-ups based on the Python. Okay, there's a QSkit online laboratory. This thing is there. One can go and work it out some problems there. Okay, and it's I think would be they have lots of information there. Okay, one can make circuits there. One can get the output there. Okay, and they can learn how the quantum computer is working. Okay, there are other ways like IBM has this forum there. Okay, where one can submit a real quantum computer task there, and we can do the jobs there done there. Okay, so all these things are now very much like this field is in a form to be realized very soon. Like, okay. So the government of India is also funding a lot nowadays. They've initiated this quantum technology, this call for proposals. Okay, in the centers allotted some huge money there. Okay, there's a huge exploration in the direction to be the first to realize the components of this to be realized a quantum computer. Okay, so I would recommend you QSkit platform.
QSkit, yeah.
Look for, yes.
Sir,
that's good.
in case of QuizKit or any Quark or any quantum computing softwares, we are basically using Python. So when we are dealing with gates, these gates are basically on the hardware level, isn't it? So
usually they are like for example the Google they were dealing with doing with adiabatic quantum computing way. Okay, doing the hardware way where the superconducting qubits they are formed and they are worked out for the computation. Okay, so there is a hardware way is there. Okay, you submit the information there. Okay, the quantum computer, the prototype quantum computer that is working on that, and gives you the result accordingly. Okay.
So in
And
this,
there are many the Qiskit thing is there. That is you can say that you are simulating the quantum gates on a classical computer. Okay. So when you work it out, all the logics, you apply this, and you can simulate this real quantum computer there on a classical computer.
so when we are actually working on the quantum computer in the quantum realm, then in that case, are we using any direct programming language? Because whenever we are using, say, any other language based on Python, so we are basically simulating it. We are not using
Yes,
using the
true,
quantum
true.
computer.
That's true. So when you do it like the language for this whatever this language is, your the C, Python, this is for the classical computing is there. Okay. And when you deal with quantum, okay, usually the states and the evolution, one actually is implying quantum is there. Okay. And things are actually really in development mode, actually, I would say. It's not a developed thing, okay, to work it out on a real quantum computer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, as the cryptographic algorithms use multipliers, can we design those multipliers using this Qiskit, IBM Qiskit, sir?
Can you repeat the questions?
So using this IBM Qiskit, can we design this multipliers, sir, cryptographic multipliers?
I have not used that. I'm sorry, I have not used that. Okay. So probably people are already doing that. Yes, but I have not used that.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes, any more questions? Okay.
So
Or
one more
else
thing,
can
sir.
we design, sir? Can we design those multipliers using these gates, sir? Using these gates, can we design?
Yes. Those gates will be helping you to designing this multiplier. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
So one more thing, sir. So when we are actually using these quantum computing programming in programs, and we are using these programs to as a basically simulator, so how we are getting the actual result of these quantum computers? Because means. The classical computers cannot, you can just mimic those things, but it cannot actually do the quantum computing. No?
That's true. The classical computation, usually there is a limitation there. When you do a simulation of this quantum computer on a classical computer, there is a limitation there. Okay, and one can like the way you deal with the Hilbert space there. Okay, in the quantum way, you are dealing with quantum bits, the number of bits. Okay, in the classical way, you are dealing with the Hilbert space that will be huge in the basis of the computation. Okay, so usually there is lots of problems with the limitations there. So the proposed quantum computer will be like, for example, they say that the crackability of some code or working out some simulations in a faster time mode. Okay, so usually they translate the because you have a basis of the let's say you have a qubit basis there. Okay, if one can perform the calculation in the qubit basis, or if one perform in the computation basis, okay, things are getting a huge difference there. Okay, so a proposed quantum computer will be doing a computation on this qubit basis. Okay, and that will make the task to be much easier, much faster, as compared to the classical stimulating this quantum computer on a classical.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
so thank you very much to everybody, and thank you especially to Dr. S. Mishra ji, and for your presence here and giving insight into our participants through quantum gates and circuits, about quantum gates and circuits. Really, one by one, they are getting too much information and knowledge about the quantum computing, quantum computers. So we have arranged such kind of sessions for that. So there is continuum in the sessions, so that one cannot understand anything So
Yes,
there
yes.
is continuity in the sessions of the topics of the sessions. So next topic is for your quantum algorithms by Professor Ajay Vashan of IIT Roorkee.
Mhm.
Okay, so he will take at 11:30. So thank you very much, sir. And for
Okay, thank
your
you. Thank you all of
presence.
you for listening me for this 1.5
Yeah.
hours. Okay.
Yeah.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
we'll
Thank you.
interact soon. Okay, sometime.
So
Okay.
look, see you,
Have a nice
sir.
day.
See you. Fine. Okay, participants, then we can meet at 11:25 for your next session about quantum algorithms by Professor Ajay Vashan of IIT Roorkee. Okay, so meet you at 11:25.